Hey, welcome back everybody. Got a couple more videos for you here. So we're going to recap on the trainer kite and why a trainer kite. Most people wonder, do they need to get a trainer kite before they get a bigger kite? And the answer absolutely is yes, yes, yes. And the reason why is while you're learning the wind window and you're doing your figure eights in a horizontal pattern and you're doing your figure eights in a vertical pattern, and then you're doing that same thing to the right side of the wind window and to the left side of the wind window, you're figuring out where the power zones are, and it's a lot better and safer to figure all this out with a smaller kite. Because if you start flying a monster kite out there and you accidentally drop it through the power zone and don't know what to do or how to steer a kite or how to park it in the left or the right or the upper neutral zone, you're going to be in trouble and you'll just be skidded down the beach or down the snow head first pulling a Superman. So in that, this sport is basically based off of visualization. You want to visualize. So before you even get a trainer kite in your hand, the proper way to play with a kite is just imagine a ladder, and you're just gonna climb a ladder basically. And so that's all your movements are, is up and down, up and down. And you're not steering it like a car and moving it around. I see so many people starting to fly a trainer kite and they're all over the place and they're doing this and trying to steer it. That's not going to steer it. If you have it set up in your head first to visualize what you got to do, and you sit back and you think, okay, to go to the right, I'm going to go down this way and go that way. So that's what you're going to do. And that's it. All this stuff is just going to mess your system up. So trust me on that. Another way to describe it is kind of a punch system, in, out. When the kite is lower, of course the ladder will be more horizontal and straight out in front of you. So you're doing more of this, and as the kite goes higher, you're doing this. And as you come down in the power zone, it's like that. That's all you have to focus about. So just sit back and visualize and think about how you're going to steer a kite. If you want it to go to the left, you're just going to pull to the left. If you want it to go to the right, you're going to pull to the right. So having that set up in your mind before you even play with a trainer kite, you're going to do that much better, and you're going to be that farther along. So that's a real key element of coming into the sport, on how to handle what's happening with the kite. And once again, the kite's going to be a lot farther away from you, 21 meters typically, 14 to 21 meters. And you're going to have to, like, if your kite starts going, if you're here and you send your kite up to the top and you start sending it to the right, before it gets to this point, here's the horizontal, and before it gets to here, you've got to pull down on the left bar about right here, because it's still going to be coming down before it reads your command or feels the tension from the line. And once you pull down, this is kind of the buffer zone, and the kite will steer back up. And once again, when you get it farther, when it starts going farther to the left, you're going to pull hard to the right. And none of this little stuff. You pull. You don't just do this. You drastic when it gets more to the left and right. But once again, you want to handle the kite with control. And the best way to demonstrate to yourself and those around you and others on the beach and other kiters is start any kite at the neutral zone at the top. And you want to just play with the neutral zone, and your natural playful instincts are going to want to be to just steer it all over the place and feel the power and see if you can handle it and almost control it. For some reason, women do better at this. They go with the flow more. Guys seem to want to just control it and just, drive it in. And that's really not what you want to do. You want to just flow with it and control it with steering and knowing and understanding that if I pull to the right, it'll go to the right. If I pull to the left, it'll go to the left. And knowing that concept ahead of time before you even touch a trainer kite will be that far, will get you that farther along. And yeah, you got to master the basic skills. They're smaller, they're about a third of the size smaller than a bigger kite. So once again, if you steer the kite down here in the power zone directly downwind from you, because the wind's at your back and you're going this way, if that big kite, if you want to learn the wind window of the big kite, you're going to get hurt. And no one wants to see that happen. So this is the way to learn. Every class, any instructor that you talk with or play with or any lesson you take is going to have you play with a trainer kite. So it's absolutely imperative that you play with a trainer kite, and you might as well, my philosophy is buy the trainer kite. And I mentioned that before. Whether it's through me or someone else, get the trainer kite, and typically an instructional DVD will come with that. And that's a big part of your progression, because you want to get 10, 20 hours in on the trainer kite before you even get into a bigger kite and strap into a big dog where you're in. You can always unlatch and stuff, but we'll get to that down the road. So basically, you just want to master the basic skills, and I can't stress that enough. You want to be able to fly this thing one-handed, not looking, because you're going to be playing with the board and so forth and all that. So if you want to get dialed into a trainer kite, I'll be happy to help you out in that arena. I think it's $185 or $195 for the trainer kite with a $35 progression video. Normally it's over $200, and I think that's the best deal that's out there. That's why I promote it. I only promote what I think is the best. Now, if you're shopping for a trainer kite, you don't need a 4-line, you don't need a 3-line, you don't need a 3 you don't need a 4 meter, and you don't need a 2 meter unless you have young kids wanting to try it. A 2 meter would probably be better. But 1.5 meters and 1 meter kites are just too small. You don't feel the power of the wind. On a windy day, the 3 meter kite, I can do short 3 to 5 foot barefoot skids in sand on the beach by steering it down and leaning back, and it'll go long. It's nothing to kite with by any means, but I have mistakenly, in my beginning of learning the sport, I've taken the trainer kite out on a super windy day, and I sent it down the power zone, and I just got lifted and thrown down like I was playing football or something. So you want to respect the trainer kite too. They come with a leash, which if you let go of the bar, that's always the safest, best thing. If it's out of your control, let go. What will happen is the bar will slide down the one line that's on your leash, and it takes the kite from being powered in the wind to floating in the wind. So you got the string here, and it's just floating as opposed to capturing all the wind. You kind of turn it, and now it's just doing that. So hopefully that helps. But once again, I have found a true 3 meter kite is really the best. And to understand the seriousness of the sport, I really encourage you to Google kite surfing accidents, kiteboarding accidents, snow kiting accidents, just to re-emphasize the seriousness and what's out there and how people are getting hurt. And once again, I mentioned before, the number one way people are getting killed is they're getting smashed into things that are downwind from them, because in a heartbeat things can happen. And an unfortunate accident happened out at Aurora Reservoir in Colorado, and there was a group of guys, a really good bunch of guys, and they definitely knew what they were doing. They've been around, they were pro. The wind came up, and the spray was coming across, like I mentioned before. Watch the water and see what's happening. A couple guys knew. One guy got lifted up because he had his kite parked at 12 o'clock. Remember, you want to park at 11 or 1, or all the way over to the side, or just get out from underneath it, period, let go. Sometimes losing the kite is better than losing your life, which in this case, out of the 3 guys, 1 guy got lifted. There was someone there to keep him there. Another guy went up and down and landed on some rocks and broke his ankle. And unfortunately, the other guy got lifted and came down on rocks. So, and he hit his head, and he spent the last few days of his life in a coma at the hospital. And that was the end of the story. So, one, wear a helmet. Two, you gotta learn the wind window and you gotta respect it. And there's not a better way to do that than a training kite. And you always have this kite in your arsenal to let your friends play while you graduated up to a higher level and a bigger kite. And while you're out there having fun on the snow or water, they can kind of get the idea, and it's a great way for you to practice new tricks. So you can practice steering the trainer kite and manipulating it in the wind window for your bigger tricks down the road. So, and the way to do that is visualize the ladder punch concept, because as you're going in the wind window, it's going to go this way, and of course all that. So anyway, hopefully that sank in. That's your 10 minutes. We'll catch you on the next one.